In this series, we're stepping into each room of the blueprint of family violence against men, a model that maps how abuse works against male victims of family violence. Today, we're still in the master bedroom, the room where psychological manipulation reshapes your sense of self. This particular video focuses on DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. And for me personally, it was one of the most effective tactics used against me. Unlike other tactics in the blueprint, DARVO isn't standalone. What makes DARVO so powerful is its structure. And this is where the TTI model that defines the anatomy of abuse comes in. That's tactic, trigger, and impact. And please feel free to view my other video on this particular model. DARVO doesn't just deliver a single tactic to hit one trigger. It's a stacked attack, multiple tactics layered on top of one another. Each layer is aimed at hitting a trigger in you. And when the full pattern is delivered, you're destabilized. You've forgotten the topic you raised, and now you're fully on the defensive. Here's how it works, step by step, through the lens of the TTI model, so that you can see exactly what's happening and why it's so effective. It starts with denial of the harm they've caused. You raise something that hurt you, and they flatly deny it. That never happened. You're imagining things. It wasn't a big deal. The harm is erased before it can even be seen. In the TTI model, the tactic is denial. The trigger it hits is your basic need to feel seen, heard, and understood. The impact is shock and confusion. You start explaining again, raising your voice, trying harder to be clear, and now they've got you emotional. That's when they shift to the next tactic. Next, they attack you. They shift the focus off the issue and onto your character. You're so sensitive. You always do this. You're being so aggressive. In the TTI model, the tactic is a personal attack. The trigger it hits is your fear of being seen as the problem, of being cruel, unstable, or unfair. And the impact? Your emotional distress spikes. Now you're not focused on the harm they caused, you're trying to defend yourself just to make the pain of their attack stop. And finally, they flip the roles. Suddenly, they're the victim. Your words are labeled abusive, your boundaries are called controlling, your pain is painted as manipulation. In the TTI model, the tactic is role reversal. The trigger it hits is your moral compass, your deep need to protect, not harm. And the impact? You're apologizing for causing damage to their perceived slight. And they walk away with the sympathy, the moral high ground, and control of the story. Darvo isn't just about winning the argument. It's psychological manipulation designed to rewrite the moral structure of the relationship, one where their acts of cruelty don't exist and you become the biggest offender. And here's the real cost: your voice, the one trying to name the harm, gets buried inside an apology for something you never did. And when that happens often enough, something deeper breaks because there's no intimacy without truth and no trust when only one person's pain is allowed to exist. Because Darvo is layered and fast, you don't realize what's happening until it's too late. That's the impact of a stack tactic like this. It doesn't just spin you around, it makes your emotional reality unwelcome in the relationship. And once your voice is no longer respected, connection can't survive. For me, Darvo was her go to whenever I spoke up because it worked. I remember how after her shower each night, she'd throw her soaking wet towel onto my side of the bed. I asked her not to, repeatedly, gently, and calmly. I didn't accuse her of anything. I just didn't want to sleep in a wet bed. But every time I asked, the same pattern unfolded. First, the denial. It's not wet. You're imagining things. I didn't put it there. You must have. It's not even that wet. The harm disappeared before it was even acknowledged. Then the attack. Not on the towel, but on me. You're so OCD. Why are you always picking fights? God, you're exhausting. The issue was never the towel, it was my personality, my tone, or my flaws. And then came the reversal. Suddenly, I was the reason she was upset. I'm always walking on eggshells around you. You never let me relax in my own home. You always ruin my night. It's like you deliberately go out of your way to make me feel awful just before bed. I hadn't raised my voice. I wasn't unkind. I just named something that bothered me. But within moments, I wasn't talking about the issue anymore. I was defending my character. Now she was the victim, and I was the offender. And I was apologizing for making her feel attacked when all I did was ask for a dry place to sleep. And the most disturbing part, I learned to accept it. I'd climb into a soaking bed, tell myself it was fine, then my body heat would dry it within a few hours. This was the most effective tactic used against me. Things would spin so fast, and I'd be so focused on defending my character that I'd lose track of why I spoke up in the first place. Sometimes days, even weeks would pass before I'd realize what had happened. I would sit back and go, hang on, I raised something she did that hurt me, but I was the one who apologized in the end, and I don't think she ever did. That's how DARVO works. It doesn't just flip the script, it flips your sense of reality. Your pain becomes proof of her suffering. Your boundaries become her burden. And somewhere in all of it, you disappear. DARVO is one of the clearest, most predictable psychological manipulation tactics. But in the moment, it's actually incredibly hard to spot. It doesn't just disorientate you when you raise harm, it rewrites the whole conversation until it sounds like your fault, until you doubt what happened and you doubt yourself. But here's the truth: speaking up is not abuse, boundaries are not cruelty, and asking to be treated with respect is not an attack. This is just one of the psychological manipulation tactics defined in the master bedroom of the blueprint for family violence against men. You'll find the full list of tactics across all rooms of the blueprint at standagain.com.au, along with tools to help you name what happened and begin healing from it. And no matter how many times you've been knocked down, you can stand again.